Oh, I'm live. Hello, everyone. What is up? I'm Lindsay Dollinger, and I am coming to you tonight. I hope I'm in the right group. I believe I am. If you're watching right now, you're watching the replay because it says there are 0 watchers. So you can fast forward a minute if you're watching the replay. But I'm going to go ahead and get started because it's 8:30, and we are talking tonight all about things time management. So I want to be really mindful of your time. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and dive right in. If you hop on, tell me hello, tell me replay if you're catching the replay. Drop any questions you have in the comments. I do have a PowerPoint in Canva, like a presentation. I call them PowerPoint still. But I may or may not share it. I might just like look at you guys. We'll see how it goes. But drop questions in the comments as we get going, and I will answer them when I see them or answer them toward the end. So super quickly, I am Lindsay Dollinger. I am a full-time high school Spanish teacher. So obviously I am home for the summer, which is awesome fun. Along with being a teacher then, I travel. I travel a lot in the summer. I was just at Disney with my team. Did some more traveling around Florida, got back, and we're going to Hawaii next week. But I'm telling you all that because I have to have the time management piece. Like the only reason that I am able to work my business and to keep my business going while I am doing all of the things is because of time management and is because of the things that I'm going to talk about tonight. So I'm going to take, I will share my screen. Let me get it pulled up. Why can I not remember how to share my screen? Oh, here we go. Share. I'm using StreamYard, by the way, which I will mention StreamYard a little bit later. Let me just do the window. To the window. Okay. Yeah. Wait, can I not be so big? I don't want to be... There we go. That's better. So I'm just going to show it this way because I don't know. I think you can still see this. Actually, I'm going to check really quickly in the team page because I want to make sure you're not seeing like my blank screen. Pause, please. Let's see. Oh, good. Okay. It looks normal. Okay. So I titled this From Business and Overwhelmed to Productive and CEO because that is something that I think is so important and not talked about enough as we start talking about time management, or if we start talking about moving our business forward, is really the mindset of being the CEO of your own business. And so we're going to talk about mindset, first slide, which I know you're probably like, what the heck does this have to do about time management? This is a waste of my time. I promise you, once I mastered the mindset piece and all these things that I'm going to mention right here, once I really dived deep into all of these things and basically stopped making excuses for why I wasn't being successful in certain parts of my business, my entire business shifted. Along with that, my entire business also shifted when I went to conference in Orlando in 2019. It was really a huge mindset shift for me. So I hope you can either go live definitely if you can, if you have those tickets. If not, I hope you can hop on virtual and just experience all that is conference because it's freaking amazing. So mindset and what this has to do with time. So first one here, I want you, and you don't have to answer in the chat, but really think about this or come back to this and think about it a little bit later. But what are you telling yourself about time? Because I hear a lot when talking to people in Color Street and other companies that they don't have time to XYZ. Like, I don't have time to work my business, or maybe the time is about other things. I work full time, I have kids, so I don't have time to whatever. So what are you telling yourself about the time you have? And there's a meme floating around, you might have seen it, or a meme or a graphic that I've seen on social media a lot the past couple of days. And I don't agree with it. And it is something along the lines of, not everyone has the same 24 hours. 24 hours in a day looks different to someone who's a CEO of a multi-million-dollar company, or someone who's a stay-at-home mom. And the point of it was that Like if you have less resources, you don't have as much time either. And I get where it's coming from, but I also want to encourage you, if you're serious about your business, and I'm assuming you are if you're taking the time to watch this training, that you really start to step into that mindset of, we do have the same 24 hours. I have the same 24 hours that you have, that someone else has. And we just get to decide, one, what we're going to do with that time, and two, own what we're going to do with that time, because it is totally fine if realistically you don't have time a week to work your business, or if you take a week off to go on vacation, or, you know, whatever it might be. Like I'll be the first to tell you, I didn't actively work my business while I was in Florida last week. I had scheduled posts up ahead of time. I shared in my stories, which we'll talk about how those are kind of working your business later. But I wasn't actually doing reach outs to people. I wasn't planning any more parties, you know, those sorts of things. So, and that's okay. And I'm owning that, just like you get to own whatever you are telling yourself about time. So there are thoughts about our time. I don't have hours in the day to work my business. And then there's the actual circumstance of like, I literally do not have an hour to work my business. So a really cool exercise to do with this top one is, I forget what they actually called it, but it's something like hourly tracking, or basically you track your time for a week. And I did this probably about a year ago in a coaching program I was in, and that was during COVID. So my time looked completely different. But it was really, really eye-opening for me. And you can also do this, guys. I know for on your iPhone, I don't want to mess with mine because my earbuds are connected, and it actually said I'm connected over there. So hopefully you can still hear me. Let's see if I can tell if you can hear me or not. Will someone tell me if they can hear me? Okay, I think so, because people are commenting. Okay, cool. Let me know if you can't hear me, because it said my AirPods are connected to my phone. Here we go. But basically what I'm getting at is I tracked my time for a week during COVID. And I was just wasting it. I didn't realize how much time, like I noticed last night, I spent an hour and a half scrolling Instagram reels. And to me, I was like, oh, I'm saving some to make for later. But that was not working my business. So just some things that, and that's an activity you can definitely do, is track your time. Maybe you only want to do it for a day. But if you're telling yourself that you don't have time to work your business, and maybe you don't for a certain day, track it and see where you're actually spending that time first of all. And then after you do that, what are you telling yourself about your business through your thoughts and actions? So if you're telling yourself and you're constantly being like, it's okay, I didn't work my business today because I did XYZ, which is fine. But then do you have a business or do you have a hobby? And either also, again, are okay. But what do you want? Because if you want a business, but you're treating it like a hobby, then you get to make some shifts. And likewise, if you just want a hobby and you realize you're putting 40 hours a week in it, then you get to make some shifts. So just kind of owning and being really, really aware of what you actually want out of it and how you are treating it is a huge first step to time management. Next is, what are you willing to do to make your business successful? And I think something that's really important with this is, especially if you are newer, or maybe you're just like re-energizing yourself to get your energy and your momentum back up and going again. Maybe you're like relaunching your business, whatever it looks like for you. What are you willing to do? Whether that is, are you willing to wake up a half an hour earlier? Are you willing to work your business during your lunch break? Are you willing to have your husband do bath time with the kids an extra night a week so you get an extra half an hour to work your business? But you get to decide, and you can do this with a spouse if you want to do that kind of communication, but you get to decide, what are you actually willing to do? Are you willing to invest a little bit in your business, which we'll talk about some systems later that can help you? But are you willing to do those things? Are you willing to put $50 into your business a month in order to get back a few hours of your time that you can use with your kids? So what are you actually willing to do? And what are you not willing to do? Because those, again, once you're clear with that, you're going to feel so much better about the decisions you make for your business. And you're not going to feel that guilt. You're not going to feel ashamed when someone reaches out and you didn't do XYZ, or you didn't show up, or you weren't visible on a training. As long as you're clear about these things, and as long as you're clear about these things to your team, especially if you're a leader, especially as you are starting from day one building a team, I think it's really important to be clear. These are my business hours. I will get back to you within a certain amount of time. I've told my team there's no such thing as a nail emergency. And we have created a culture where, like, if I don't get back to someone right away, then someone else answers and someone else answers, and it's a collaborative effort. But as you're building a team, that's up to you as a leader and a stylist to kind of set those boundaries and set that culture from the very beginning. So just what are you willing to do? And then the very last thing, and it kind of goes with, are you working a business or a hobby? What are your goals with your business? And what are your priorities? Again, priorities can be a little more business and other things as well. So like a priority of mine is making sure I get a workout in 4 days a week, for example. And we'll talk about where these priorities fit in. Maybe yours is 3 hours with your kids after work each night. If you have a 9-to-5 job, that's obviously a priority. So making a list of things that are actually your priorities, your hard set, like I'm doing this no matter what kind of deal. And then we get to play around with our extra little bit of time. Okay. I'm just going to wait and do questions maybe toward the end, since I have this in a separate window and I can't see them. I hope that's okay. All right. So now once we got the mindset piece, and again, guys, this slide that I just showed you, like this takes some work. Like this isn't something you're going to be able to sit down and tell yourself right now while you're watching this video if you have not thought about all of these things before. Because some of them can be really hard questions. I've definitely had times in my life where my priority was not my business. It could have been when I was sick or when I'm on a vacation or whatever. But here's the cool thing is that if we plan in advance and if we are good with our time management, it's okay that your business isn't your priority 24/7. And I think that's a really important thing to be aware of. All right. So thinking about what you can outsource or streamline. And outsourcing, most of these things cost money, not all of them. But here's what I want to point out about this. What do you not enjoy doing? Or what do you personally not have to do? So I'm going to talk about what do you not enjoy doing. So some people really hate making graphics, okay? Or maybe you like making them, but it takes you an hour to make one graphic. That's an example. Maybe you really don't enjoy following up with people, for example. So I make a list of that. First of all, is what I did when I first started doing this. And then what do you personally not have to do out of those things that you don't enjoy doing? Like, do I personally have to be the one that makes graphics for my team? And I'll tell you a story about this. It was probably April last year. And I'm good. I mean, I made this on Canva. I'm pretty savvy with Canva. I love Canva. I pay for Canva Pro. I actually should have put this in here under tools. It's like the best $129 of my life spent. But, and I like making graphics. Here's the thing. However, last April, I was trying to make this graphic of everyone on my team who had bonus qualified. There was like over 100 people, I think, who had bonus qualified. And there's no easy way to copy the report from the back office and put it into the graphic. So I'm like typing out all these names. I'm messing with the fonts, doing all these things. And so I sent it to my leaders in our chat to double check. I forgot this person. I spelled this person's name wrong. Guys, it took me 3.5 hours to make this graphic. One graphic. I'm not even crapping you right now. I almost said a different word, but and that's something, I'll tell you what, right after that, I was like, I'm finding a VA. And it took her, I don't even know, like 30 minutes to do the thing that took me 3.5 hours. And I paid her $17 an hour. So it cost me, $8.50 to make that graphic, which seems like a lot. However, It took me 3.5 hours to make that. So divide that by 3. Is my time worth less than $3 an hour? No. So that's something I want you to think about. What could I have been doing in those 3.5 hours? I could have been reaching out to new people. I could have done a party. I could have done a live sale. I could have sent emails and sold something with a flash sale and made so much more money than the return on my investment on that graphic, which actually was 0 because it went in my team space and no one saw it. It didn't do anything to bring me income. Does that make sense? So what do you not enjoy doing? What do you personally not have to do? Those are the things I want you to think about. And then here are some tools that might help you with some of those things. So schedulers, if you don't use a scheduler for your parties, for your posts, you can use, Facebook has one already built in. If you do this, make sure you have, like, once you do a party one time, have your Google Doc with, your party templates. We have a bunch in our team Google Drive folder that you can use. Have that saved so that if you are doing a Facebook party, you're copying and pasting and scheduling one time. Another cool thing that I do for streamlining things is I only do mega parties. I don't do a party for one hostess anymore. I do one mega party a month. All my hostesses for the month get dumped into that party. So I schedule all those posts one time, once a month. Again, maybe you really enjoy scheduling posts and you enjoy having a party 3 times a week. That didn't fit into my schedule. And my parties were just as good if I did one mega party versus, because I tracked them for several months, versus if I did 8 nights of parties, and think about the difference in the amount of time. So for me, one mega party is the way I do it. So these are the different scheduler options. Planoly is I think it's just Instagram. There's lots of other ones, but those are some things that you can look into. Post My Party was the one that was really big when I first got started with Color Street. That one, you can just have party templates and then you can sub in your hostess, your link, things like that. For video, StreamYard is a really great thing. The thing I like about StreamYard is you can stream it into multiple places if you have the paid subscription, including, if I do a training for my team, for example, I will stream it, and I actually didn't do this tonight. I should have streamed this in my actual team page too. I could have done that. But I can stream it into 3 places, and those can include YouTube, and then you can also download the video. So this is kind of like working smarter, not harder, if you are doing videos. So you can do that with your parties. If you like to do live party videos, you can make a generic one and stream them. You can also stream stuff onto YouTube. So if you're doing your nails one night and you're doing your manicure application video, you're teaching about whatever piece of content you have, you can stream that to your Facebook page. You can stream it to YouTube. You can download it and upload it to an IGTV. So that's kind of the thinking smarter, not harder, being visible in multiple places with making one piece of content, which we'll talk about batching next. Well, not next, toward the end. OneStream Live. This has been a game changer, and I almost did it tonight, and I almost regretted not doing it tonight because our internet went out right before this video, and I was freaking out. What OneStream Live is you can take pre-recorded videos, plug them into the program, and it streams live as though you were actually live at that time on any platform that's on their list. YouTube, Facebook, I don't know if IG, I don't think IG is connected, but any kind of Facebook group, Facebook page, whatever. So when I batch content, which again, I'll talk about in a little while, I can set it to go live. Now, if it's longer than 5 minutes and you schedule more than one out, you do have to pay for it. So I pay for a monthly subscription to that. But to me, it works because I get to be visible and seen in multiple places. And I batch a whole bunch of videos at once when I have my hair done and my makeup done and I'm ready to go. So that's OneStream Live. This last one, and I have a whole nother training on this, I can totally do at some point, but virtual assistant. I don't think you need a virtual assistant until you're maybe a team leader and above. Once you hit that team leader and above, unless you're like a senior stylist and have a giant team and just things aren't aligning yet for you to be a team leader, a virtual assistant, I feel like, is almost a must, especially if you are not doing this business full time. So some things that your virtual assistant can do for you: they can schedule posts, nail fees, They can do reach outs. So like when I have someone new join my VIP group, my virtual assistant will go in once a week and send all of my new members a message and say, hey, Megan, thanks so much for joining my VIP group. Have you tried Color Street before? And then she doesn't respond. Like once they respond back to me, because she's logged into my account, then I respond, and it's something that I personally have to respond to, right? Because she's not going to know necessarily all the answers to the questions. But I don't have to be the one to personally reach out to her to begin with, to the new person. Does that make sense? So she does reach outs. Follow-ups, I don't currently have her doing follow-ups because I like to do that, but she can do follow-ups. If you have a big team, I have my virtual assistant run my reports and do my graphics for my team, all sorts of stuff like that. Send samples and emails. Again, I don't currently have mine doing it, but I know some women on my team have them do it, especially if they're local to you. They could send samples for you. Heck, they could even come to your house. Then it's an assistant, not really virtual, but send out sets and hostess packets. Literally any portion of your business, guys, that doesn't have to be you can be outsourced. And it can be outsourced super cheaply. And again, I don't want to spend too much time on that because that doesn't pertain to anyone or everyone. But let me know if you want more info about the virtual assistant, because I do already have a training made on that. Okay, so here's the good stuff. Income producing activities. Friends, stop spending time on things that aren't making you money. I'm going to let that sink in, because income producing activities are super, super important. And it can be super fun to spend 3.5 hours making a team graphic, or it can be really, really awful, depending on what your ideal fun is. But I love making graphics. I'll show you when I'm done with here. My Canva page is like graphics galore. I love doing it. But I also know that I'm not technically counting that as my time working my business. And I get to do that while I'm scrolling or watching Netflix late on a Saturday night. Like, it is not the chunk of time that I'm sitting down to actively work my business. So especially when you are tight on time, if you're working full time, if you want to spend more time with your kids, stop spending time on things that aren't making you money. And I don't remember exactly the expression. You guys probably know it, but I've heard it worded several different ways, but basically it is, you can have time or you can have money, but you can't have both in the beginning of your business. So you either need to be willing to take some of that money and invest it in these things that I mentioned here, like a virtual assistant, like a good planner, whatever, in order to get some of that time back, or you're going to be spending all of that time in order to make the more money. I hope I didn't say nearly as eloquently as I heard it before, but that's something that really stuck with me. Here are some things that don't make you money. Making graphics, scrolling Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, TikTok, all the things. Listening to trainings and not taking action. And here is kind of my rule with trainings. If you have 5 hours a week to work your business, for example, just because it's easy math, no more than 20% of that time should be spent on training. So 5 hours would be like an hour a week tops, because trainings themselves don't make you money. Trainings will give you ideas for different things. They can give you maybe a little bit of motivation, but they're not actually the things that make you money. So they're kind of the extra. You do need to do them. You need to get your basics down. But once you get the basics down, then you get to really be intentional about using that time to make you money, to move your business forward. Same thing with your team. This can be really, 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 really easy to do, especially as your team grows. But do not spend more than 20% of your business time on your team. This includes one-on-one with your team. This includes recruiting to your team would be your own business. But you have your team, and then you have your personal business, which includes sales and recruiting. That's your two pieces of your personal business. So do not spend. And this is a really, really eye-opener when I'm talking to my women, especially team leaders and above. I'm like, well, how much time a week are you working your business? And they'll tell me. I'm like, okay, how much time are you spending in the chats? Chats kill us time-wise. You do not realize how much you are on that chat. And one of my biggest time management tips, and I don't even think I have it on here, was about a year ago, I turned off all the notifications to my Facebook Messenger, I didn't have Facebook notifications on anyway, but if you had those on, I would turn them off. And then I check my messenger twice a day, morning and night, maybe mid-afternoon or lunchtime now that I'm home for school, but that's it. And that is not only a boundary that I've done, not only with my team and my customers, but it allows me then to be intentional about working my business without troubleshooting and doing all the things with other people on my team. Because here's the thing, guys, the majority of the time, the questions your team have or has can be found in our 1 million team groups by using the search tool on Facebook. So once you show them how to use that, show them where our Google Drive is, but we also have an amazing app, and our resources in our VO are top notch. You can go down through and literally find pretty much anything that you could ever want to know. Now, this is different. When I started 3.5 years ago, that was not the case. But literally everything, and even now, if I have a question, I go to those resources and I pull it up. So being really mindful and kind of rigid with that 20% of time on your team is so important, because then you're building leaders. Otherwise, if you are in your DMs with your team every day, all the time, you're not building leaders. And you want to be building leaders so that you have the time, because the whole purpose of working a network marketing business is that flexibility and that freedom of time, of finances, right? So, okay, I'll get off my soapbox about that one. So these are all things that don't make you money. Now, things that do make you money: connections, invites, follow-ups. And that's literally what I follow in my power hour every night. Connections, invites, follow-ups. I'm connecting with new people. I'm connecting with my current customers. I'm inviting new people to join my VIP, to sample, to have a party. I'm inviting my current customers to have a party, to a sale, whatever, to the stylist opportunity, and follow-ups. Hey, last month I asked you about being a stylist, and you told me to message you back in a month. Here I am. It has to work your personality. I definitely would not say that if that's not your personality, but that's my personality. So those three things in a nutshell, those make you money. Making sales, doing sales, a live sale, your parties are going to make you sales, because we are a party plan company. But honestly, guys, through connections, I don't want this to come off the wrong way, but I make more sales in connections and emails, which is not on here, but I'm counting that as connections, than I do in my VIP group, 100%, because I follow this, and I'm very consistent about that. So making sales, you got to be making that money. And then onboarding new stylists in a simple way. And an onboarding process that does not last months, because we're all adults here. And, if someone wants this business to work, they will find a way to make it work if it's their time. And some people, guys, won't work the business right off the bat, and they'll work it 3 months later, and that's totally cool. But onboarding your new stylist in a simple way, getting them a win quickly, showing them where resources are, and supporting them. And then here, it's kind of formatted weird, but I heard this on a podcast a couple months ago, and I really think it's true. The people who are the top, the top of any company, they're either good at content, meaning, they know their brand, they're putting out consistent content. It's not all about their products. They're sharing about their dog life and their travels and the things that are important to them, and they're educating. They're good at content, or they're good at connections, which connections you don't always see. Connections are a lot of times behind the scenes. Or the ones at the very, very top are good at both. Okay, now we're getting, I feel like I've talked about a lot of things that aren't necessarily exactly time, but they are. So now that we have all of this, scheduling your time. What I like to do the beginning of every quarter is to look big picture. So summer months, let me think quarters. January, February, March, April, May, June. Yeah, so we're ending a quarter right now. So this is a great time to look ahead. July, August, September. And I like to do it on a actual piece of paper. You can do it however you want. But I fill in big things coming up. So like August is going to be back to school. July, I like to do Christmas in July. I'm going to be talking about conference. September, we have Labor Day weekend. So you could do some sort of a sale around that. Somewhere in there, we will have a fall launch. So I like kind of tentatively like stick them in. Conference, we usually have our incentive trip announced, which is a great time to start talking to people about the business and sharing all the, getting people onboarded so that they can start earning that trip. So I like to think big picture and then break it down monthly with the closest month first. So July, I'm going to go ahead and plan July out. I'm going to mark that we have 4th of July. We have conference and I'm doing Christmas in July. So my July is pretty full already with what I can be planning out. And then I'm going to put anything else in there. So I know I'm going to be in Orlando from, basically like a week in July. And I'm just going to use old schedule because I don't currently do this. But, I used to show animals at the fair. So like the last week in July was like kind of sketched out. And so you might have kids who show animals at the fair. So you have a week of July that's gone. Maybe you're going to go on vacation the 3rd week in July. So plan in all of those things that are that are affecting your business directly or indirectly. And then after we break it down monthly, we break it down weekly. So, okay, if I'm going to have a sale in my group over 3 days over 4th of July weekend, then I'm going to start promoting it. Or maybe you're getting hostesses for your girls' night in the week before. So then I look at my June calendar and I need to put for my Thursday, the last Thursday in June, that my priority, do I have priorities? I think that's on the next slide. That my priority for that day is to get hostesses for my July block party or whatever it is. I hope that makes sense. So by breaking it down into smaller chunks and thinking big picture to most recent picture, I'm able to make sure that it's not the day before my July 4th block party weekend. And I'm like, crap, I didn't invite anyone, or I haven't made my graphics yet, or whatever it might be. And so then I break it down even further into daily. And when I do with my daily, I literally just cleaned all my stuff off my couch. Let me see. I don't think I have them. Well, what I do daily, I know it's here. Here it is. Is I do hourly planning. So I'll just show you guys since I have it on here anyway. This is an old one. But I do the date. I do my top 3 areas of focus. These are things that have to get done today. So like this day, it was updating my website page because I have a separate website, not like my Color Street one. Make videos, which was, I put here how to apply the nail polish strip. So I made a video that I put on YouTube. So now I send my own video instead of sending someone else's video. And then I put scheduling posts. Those are the 3 things that I had to get done on this day. I also write down 3 things I'm grateful for. I'm really big into gratitude. And then I write people I have to follow up with today. I wrote on here last month parties, ladies who claim sets in last night's lives, and then people I'm going to invite today. This can be people's names or it could be people from last month's parties. And then 3 daily self-care habits. And I have on here like drink 100 ounces of water, exercise 30 minutes, eat greens for lunch. Okay. And I have an affirmation up here. I can do anything. And then I block in my hourly time. So this was a day I had a mastermind for a mastermind program I was in. I blocked in my mastermind, driving to the mastermind where I listen to podcasts. That's another kind of tip. If you don't listen to podcasts yet, I highly recommend them. I can give you some great ideas for podcasts you can listen to. But I also listen to like the Connect the Dots, Old Tuesday trainings. You can listen to those in the car or whatever. And then so I had my mastermind lunch. I even wrote in here, go to Kohl's and Target. I forget what I even had to go to Kohl's and Target for, but I apparently needed to go. And then next I had drive and record podcast. And I had the title of the podcast that I wanted to record because I also do have a podcast. So I record that a lot when I'm in the car. That's another thing I do to take advantage of my time because I realized at first I was hesitant about doing it because I didn't want the background noise and whatever. But I realized the people who are listening to my podcast don't care. Like done is better than perfect. So if I could use that time, my 45, because I live in the boonies, that 45-minute time more effectively, which for me meant recording my podcast, that was 45 minutes I could get back when I was at home and I could be doing something else. I could be playing with my dog, I could be riding my Peloton, whatever. Well, and then next, Peloton. So I scheduled in my workout time. And then 8 p.m. that night was website, schedule a post. 10 p.m. was movie. Yes, I literally wrote in here when I was going to watch a movie because I wanted to make that a priority. Your personal time, your time not doing your business is as big of a priority, guys, as your business. So if you need to write in here, bedtime, play with kids, make kids dinner, all those things, then do it, because what you get written down, I forget the statistics, but it's like 60% is 60% more likely to get done. Things that you plan and that you get worked, that you get written down. The other fun statistic is if you plan out your week in this hourly time like this, you get back, I think it's 10 hours according to Trello. You get 10 hours of time back from, because you know what's going, like you have spent however long, an hour a week on Sundays or Saturdays or whatever day, planning out your week with intentions and looking like, okay, well, I know I need to do this because it's July, blah, blah, blah. And so you're not spending that transition time like, oh, what should I be doing? Oh, I don't know. So I'm going to check Instagram and, oh, I got a message from a teammate. I have to respond right now. No, you don't. Okay. So by having those boundaries and by doing a little bit of planning, you actually get way more time back. So when I'm doing my planning, I put in my non-negotiables. I put in my business time. That to me is a non-negotiable. And power hours. I did a training in here about utilizing power hours with your team. If you just search power hour, it'll probably come up. And I shared what I do for my power hour. My power hour essentially is 20 minutes of connections, 20 minutes of invites, 20 minutes of follow-ups. But if you're doing that every day, you might not have follow-ups one day, for example. So then I use it for scheduling my posts, other things that you have to do with your business, sending out samples, etc. Jess did an awesome training in here about using friends lists to stop your scroll. So I have a friends list on Facebook that says Color Street Team. So I can pull that up and spend 5 minutes and go down through and see everything that is going on with my teammates, and I can comment on it. And that's a way for me to build connections with them, for them to know that I'm still here, that I'm supporting them. And then I know why so-and-so hasn't been working their business because they're sick or their loved one passed away, right? Like we don't want to be those a-holes who are like, hey, why haven't you bonus qualified? And their dad just passed away. So you do need to take that time to connect with your team. I'm not saying not to connect with your team and be very, very, hands-on, but you do need to have those boundaries, and friends list is a great way to do that. I also have a friends list of my current customers. I have a friends list of potential teammates, for example. And so during my 20 minutes of connecting time, I'm intentional. I know what I'm doing heading in. Maybe Mondays is my team time. Maybe Tuesdays is my potential stylist time. CRM. I'll show you what that means in just a second because that helps with time management as well. All right. And I think this is my last slide. Work with intention. So if you have a half an hour, great. I like to go into the day, and I mentioned it already, what 3 things need to be done that day. So like this day that I mentioned was scheduling posts, updating my website, and making my application video for nail polish. And so if I knew I only had, and I wrote all this because I knew I had a mastermind where I had time to get some bigger things done. But say I needed to follow up with some people, schedule posts, and that's something that takes a little bit less time. Let's just say there's just 2 things really. Schedule posts maybe for a party, schedule posts in my VIP, and follow up. Great. So if I have 30 minutes, I'm going to give each task 10 minutes. Or if I know I have a crap ton of follow-ups, maybe I'll give that 20 minutes. And the other 2, I'm like, okay, you got to schedule posts like rapid fire or something. I don't know. But I like to batch work. And what I mean by batch work is doing all of my follow-ups in like one chunk of time. Because I find that and this is like proven, I forget who it is that says this. My memory is really bad. But, if you're doing follow-ups and then you get distracted. You're like, I'm going to schedule some posts and find some graphics. And then I'm going to go back to my follow-ups and, oh, this person messaged me and I need to message them back right now. The amount of time that it takes your brain to switch tasks between your tasks. I don't remember exactly what it is, but it's like 5 minutes for every like task that you switch between. So that's kind of why I do my power hours in 3 big chunks now. Is to kind of batch work the stuff that needs done. The other thing with batch work, so if you are doing if you're scheduling all your parties, for example, I would sit down and make like I'm going to schedule all my parties for the next 2 weeks in this one sitting. And then tomorrow I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write out emails that I'm going to send to my customers, and I'm going to save them in a Google Doc so that I just have to copy them. And I know I'm going to send an email out once a month or once every 2 weeks or something like that. But that's another thing that you can do that can save a lot of time. Some people hate batch work. I love batch work, especially like with my podcasts. I just try to like batch them and get them out when I'm like in the groove. And this is like totally off topic. And Jared, sorry if you're watching this or if you're a dude watching this. And I'm going to get off here because I've been rambling forever. But I have heard a couple really interesting podcasts lately about working your business with like your body's natural energy, meaning like if it's that time of month, ladies, that's not a good time to be inviting people for your business or doing a live sale or anything like that, because your energy usually is like, ugh. So kind of think that and like know your body, like when you're looking at your calendar, like what time of month are you like right now I'm like, like all the energy. This would be a great time for me to do a live. This would be a great time for me to share the business with people. So maybe even not like going as deep into that, but like if you're low energy, if you are exhausted, if you are not excited about whatever, don't be sending messages to people about joining your team that day. Save that for another day because your vibe is going to attract your tribe. And if you're sending these messages like, hey, you should join my Color Street team because it's real fun, like no one's going to be all about that. Okay. So that's like, again, another separate thing. We already talked about time blocking. And this is totally not me plugging at all for my podcast, but I had a podcast episode. It's called the Social Selling Sisterhood podcast. I had a guest on today. It's Blair Critch. She is one of the co-leaders of Blessed Mama Bosses. I'm pretty sure it's her podcast and her free group. It's got some religion in it, if that's your thing. But she was sharing how she time blocks like I do on a paper calendar and on her calendar on her phone, but she color codes. So, and you'll have to watch it or listen to it because she gave each thing a color. Like her team had a color, her personal business had a color, her kids had a color, like her health and stuff had a color. And so she color codes for the week, if that's your thing. I'm not quite there yet, but she color codes. And basically she's able to look across it and also like go back and look at previous weeks too and see like, okay, if I'm seeing a lot of green and that's like team, for example, then I know that like I need to be adding in some orange. I need to be adding in some purple. Same thing if you are like a workaholic and you need to spend more time with your family, you can see those color codes. So that might be something to help you kind of figure out where you're spending your time and if it's where you want to be spending it and where you need to be spending it for that moment. Do what works for you. Okay, so just because working your business an hour a day works for me does not mean it's necessarily going to work for you. Maybe you are in, we kind of talked about relaunching your business or just getting started, and you're in this phase where you're ready to go all in and put a little bit more time in it right now, knowing that it's not forever, that you have to put in that time because you just really want a good foundation, then this is your season where you're going to be putting in some more time. And maybe it's not, and that's okay. Puzzle analogy. This is the last thing I'm going to leave you guys with. So I just taped this for my podcast, so it's like fresh on my mind. I heard this in someone else's podcast about a puzzle, and they talked about how, like basically when you're a baby, you get like the cardboard puzzle and it has like 5 pieces. And even though it's so simple and so straightforward, and literally like the cow has to go in the cow shape, right? It can't fit in the horse shape. You still can't get it sometimes, like, because you're not ready. You don't have those skills yet. But once someone shows you how to do it, then you have the resources and the skills and that you're able to do it. And so we don't throw a 5,000 piece puzzle at a baby. And I love this for our business because I feel like sometimes you get stylists. Maybe this is you. You come in and you want to do all the things. You want a huge business right now, but you're not quite ready there yet because you haven't done all these things that we've talked about. Like you haven't put in the intention quite yet, or you're not exactly sure what it meant to connect with people or to invite people. And that's okay. That's why we do these trainings. That's why you learn these skills. But the important thing is that you are working and you are trying at that puzzle piece by piece every day, or as close to every day as you can. Because if you're like me and you start a puzzle and then you like get up from the table, I might not go back to that puzzle unless I need my table space. And then I like throw the puzzle in the box and forget about it for like another week or 2 weeks. But if I go back to that table and I put one more piece on my puzzle every day, I'm going to get it finished a lot quicker than if I wait a month and then I'm like, oh yeah, I should really work on my puzzle because end of month is tomorrow. So I'm going to like frantically try to get all my pieces together. So I really liked that analogy because we've all been there. We've all done that where we don't necessarily move our business forward, even if it's something really, really super small, every day. So I just talked so much. I did want to show you my CRM. I think I did a training in this group one other time. I use Trello. But this is another time-saving hack that I have. It took me forever to get this set up. You will see my VA is on my board as well. But I have, and this is a script, but it gets changed when I do things. But I have, I block out my time that Monday I'm connecting with current clients. Tuesday, love bombing, that's again, connections. This can be with people who aren't clients, but I want them to be clients. Wednesday is when I invite people. And again, this is just a sample in case my VA helps me, but it's not something that I always do. Invite people for parties or to join my VIP. Thursday is more connection. Friday is when I follow up with people. Saturday is when I engage. And then I have different cards for, personal stylists, don't love bomb them, other things like that. And this system works really, really well for me, but you have to find what works really well for you. I'm going to stop sharing that. Okay, let me see if there's any questions. You're good, I hear. Okay, a bunch of them just say Facebook user. Okay, does anyone have anything else before I hop off of here? I know this was kind of long. I really didn't mean to talk for that long, but I was just like sharing all the stuff. If you do have questions, guys, feel free to message me, DM me. I'm in here a lot. And I can share any of those things. Like I said, I'm pretty sure there's already a training that I did in here on Power Hours. I also think I did a CRM one. If I did not, if you just type in CRM or Trello, I know at least I shared the template. Oh, you're welcome, Jess. Okay, that must be you. It says Facebook user. But I'm assuming it's the only Jared. Oh, I'm not listening. Okay, that's probably when I was talking about it being that time of month. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys. I know we appreciate Jared and Jessica, and they've been bringing some really awesome people in here to share some tidbits with you guys. I hope this was helpful. The biggest thing, honestly, with time management is just making it a priority, scheduling some stuff out, and then streamlining what you can. If you can batch some stuff, do that. Use the graphics from the graphics groups. If you have to, hire a virtual assistant if you can have someone help you out. If that's not in your cards yet, the really cool thing is that they are super affordable. So like, for example, with my gal, I could sell 2 more buy 3, get 1 frees, and that would pay for over an hour of her time. So that's why I'm like, okay, well, if I can just sell 2 more buy 3 get 1s on the website, then I can pay for a virtual assistant for this week. So that kind of helped my mindset in getting started with that as well. All right, friends, have a great night. Talk soon. Bye-bye.